Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And as the clock ticks down till that time when we all can go out and start voting and doing our best to improve this country, unfortunately, that's not going to happen because, Labour are going to win. But hey, that's how it is. Swinney has admitted that Labour have already won. He's saying, though, that the election between the Labour and the SNP is still a real live fight, even though he admits that for Westminster it's over. What he's looking at, though, is the fight for the Scottish seats. Now, the polling at the moment is not looking good for him, and it's, in fact, it's dire, isn't it? And we've covered earlier how he won't give up the leadership regardless of the result. But I think he's now trying to talk himself into thinking that the result won't be as bad as he thinks. He still has delusions, I think, that the SNP are going to win the most seats. I don't know what medication he's on, but it sounds like it's pretty good, and I think, we should all be on it if it makes you feel that good and gives you that rosy tint to your life. But the reality is that the SNP are going to get hammered. Let's have a look to see what he is saying and why he seems to be living in La La Land. Here goes. Right, this actually features in The Guardian, but I just picked it up on Yahoo News because I happened to be trawling it and found it. So the election fight between Labour and the SNP is still on, says John Swinney. Got news for you, John. No, it isn't. It's all over bar the shouting, and boy, are you going to shout on Friday morning when you see the results coming in. Well, you'll be weeping really, won't you? Phoning up your ex-colleagues and giving them your condolences as they slowly realise that it's back to the dole queue again on Monday. But he says the election is over and done with in England, but in Scotland, he says the contest between Labour and the SNP is still on. The SNP leader, a respected party veteran, well, a party veteran, I'll give you that, who stepped into the role barely 2 weeks before the election was called, acknowledged that the framing of the campaign around Labour's drive to kick the Tories out of Downing Street had made it a challenge for the Nationalists to put their own agenda. Now, here's the thing: if you look at everything they've said throughout this whole referendum, this whole election, they've never once argued about the Westminster election. Everything they've done is said, if we get an independence result, if we get independence. It doesn't matter what the result of this election is. It isn't a referendum. You're not getting independence off it. So how about telling the people what you're going to do for them as MPs at Westminster? And the answer is, you've not said one damn thing about it. It's almost as though you don't care about Westminster. And if that's the case, why are you sending MPs there? Oh, that's right. Ka-ching. Money. It's the only reason. He insisted that a recent narrowing of the gap between the Labour and the SNP, that much, it was a gnat's hair, indicated that his argument that Labour is going to pick up where the Tories are left off was landing with the voters. He hasn't explained, of course, why he's got an £18 billion black hole that needs filling and why he keeps lying and saying it's going to be the Labour Party that cuts it, and it isn't. They just lie, don't they? They can't help themselves. Anyway, he says the election is essentially over and done with in England. He said, but there's still a contest on in Scotland. Labour are beating the Tories in England 2-1. Here we are broadly level. Broadly level. You're behind. And you're many, many seats behind. This broadly level exists only in your mind. It doesn't exist in, reality. Polling for Savannah on Thursday found the parties level on 34 points. Although Survation on the same day found Labour 6 points ahead on 37. He said, I understand why people want to get rid of the Tories, Swinney says, but people are seeing through the Labour Party. Think about what it means that next Friday, Tory austerity will be Labour austerity. This coming from the party that never passes on to the people who need the money given to them. Westminster goes, here's money for shopkeepers, here's money for swimming pools, here's money for, and etc, and etc, and etc. And it doesn't go to anyone else, it just stays in your coffers. So if you want to talk about austerity, let's talk about SNP thievery austerity. Attacks on Labour spending plans have been a dominant theme of the SNP's campaign, alongside the need for a cohort of SNP MPs to push the new government towards more radical decisions. They won't listen to the 3 MPs you're going to end up with. Don't now, anyway, you're all dim. Anyway, it said these have been undermined by growing discontent at the SNP's record on public services. Well, of course, you only have to look at their record, and that, of course, is where they're weak. This is why they talk about independence so much. They can't talk about what they've done for Scotland. They can't say, look, vote us in because this is what we've done. We've done this and we've done that and we've done something else. They can't talk about that because everything they point to is a steaming pile of shit. So, of course, they keep talking about, if we can get independence, well, you think Scotland's bad now. Think how much worse it would be. These people are foolish, aren't they? Anyway, Scotland's First Minister acknowledged that the party had a tough time. Tough time? Good God. Referring to the turmoil that followed the resignation of Nicola Sturgeon with the embezzlement charges against her husband, Nicola being investigated as part of Branchform, Nicola being investigated as part of Operation Cooper, now Nicola being investigated as part of the Stamp investigation. You know, there's all sorts of things. I mean, we have to ask a question. How many people is Nicola Sturgeon responsible for killing? It's an important question. And of course then there's all the infighting and everything, and the whole thing is turning to crap. And they've got nowhere to go, and they've only got themselves to blame because they've done everything themselves. They've micromanaged everything for years. They haven't allowed councils to make decisions. They haven't allowed anyone to make decisions. So all decisions, let's take all the power, take all the power. And they have this monolithic power structure, which means all decisions must be SNP decisions. There's no one else to blame. They're arseholes of the first water. Anyway, I shall stop there, come up, and we'll round off. See, that is saying bye-bye. Yeah, bye-bye, Swinney. Bye-bye, SNP. Coming up. So, remember, people, Thursday morning, or whenever you can get to the polls and put your X in that box. Look to vote tactically. Get them out. Stop them doing the damage they're doing. Tactical voting, and make sure you go. Don't sit back and be complacent. Vote. You must absolutely vote. It's the only way to save Scotland. It's the only way to make life in any way tolerable. Anyway, I shall stop there. Thank you very much for watching. Do definitely hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video, and I'll speak to you later. Bye.